Let me ask you, so when you came back to your Catholic faith, I'm sure there must have been some form of transformative moment that drew you in. There must have been even a moment where you recognized that our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and his teachings were the real teachings of hope. And what was that like? What was that coming back to the church and re-experiencing Christ like?
It's a loaded question. It's what you hope it would be. You know, it's deeply transformative. It's full of hope. It's also full of pain, because you're leaving behind an old life. You're leaving behind maybe old relationships or beliefs or thinking, and you're submitting yourself to truth. And so there's pain there, and it's good pain, but it's painful. There's also deep hope. I mean, that was the biggest thing. Like, there was hope that my life could actually be better. And so for me, all of this culminated into one particular event that really kind of was a springboard into my deeper reversion back to the church. And that was, I was living in New York, and I was there modeling and working in the fashion industry after my time on America's Next Top Model, which is a reality TV show that I was on previously. And I was living in New York, modeling and in that whole world. And it was really like, it was in the middle of a photo shoot when God he literally spoke to my heart. He literally spoke to my heart and he was priming me prior to this with a lot of discomfort. There's a lot of moments where I just became, my soul became very irritated with my life. And then me realizing, like, this irritation is not anyone else's fault. Like, you chose this. This is what you said you wanted, but now the thing that you want is not getting you the thing that you thought you wanted. So those things began to happen up until this moment. And I had this photo shoot for this international magazine. It was really in this moment where I just realized I was looking all around me and I was looking at all these people and I'm thinking, no one here cares about me. They don't care at all. They don't care if I drop dead in this moment. They wouldn't care. They would probably call the police and then they go on throughout their day and go have tapas and cocktails, down the street. And so I just kind of began to realize, like, okay, well, who does care about me? And I had a hard time finding people outside of, honestly, like my parents, of a list of people. And I realized that I had isolated myself from anybody who had a genuine, concern and care for me. And in that process of what's going on, and I'm thinking about all this stuff in this middle of this photo shoot, God spoke to my heart and he told me, I made you for more. And I remember shaking my head being like, no. That's not true. That's not true. But I heard it again. I heard, I made you for more. I made you for more. But after I ended up walking out of this photo shoot, I ended up going home. And, I got into actually a really dark space. Kind of after I walked out of the photo shoot and had like this moment of courage of like, this is not how I want to live my life. Like, I can't keep doing this anymore. It was a great element of courage, definitely from the grace of God. But I walked out and I got home and I just lost it. I didn't have that courage anymore. And things are very hard again. And I began to think that maybe life would be better without me in it. And I had some pretty dark thoughts. And those led me to really, really contemplate, putting that thought into action. And it was actually what took me out of that spiral of thoughts was I heard something on the radio, I heard something on the TV, and the TV was left on for some reason in my apartment, and I rarely watch TV, so I don't know why it was on. I have roommates, but they weren't home, and I was in bed swirling with these very dark, twisted thoughts of literally ending my life. And what broke me out of that thought was the radio was on, and I heard this reporter, and he said, "It's official. We just got word. John Paul II has just died." And I was like, what? And, for some, I don't know why. I have no clue why this was the thing that brought me out of that spiral of thoughts. But in that moment, I had this ridiculous idea that I must be the only Catholic in the Catholic Church, because I was like, how could you leave me? How could you leave me, JP2, at this point when I hadn't even been practicing my faith for 10 years? But I so connected to him as a kid. He started his papacy in 1978. I was born in 1979. So he was really all I knew, as terms of like church leadership. And so he was like the consistent piece. And in this moment of my life, when I was really thinking about ending it, I was thinking like, well, I just lost him. And, I don't know if it was the radio, or the TV. I don't know if it was something that they played right afterwards. I don't know, but I heard his voice say a million times, like he did all the time as he led the church, be not afraid. Yeah. And I just thought, what? And again, I don't know, maybe they were replaying something from him, or maybe it was from him, from the other side. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not here to really debate that because it doesn't really matter. But that is when my feet hit the floor. That is when I called my dad. That is when I said, Dad, if you don't come get me, I'm going to lose my soul. And that's when my dad drove 2,000 miles to come pick me up and take me back home.